What's up, YouTube? This is Anthony Treadwell. Tonight I ain't gonna do a motivational video, but you might get something inspirational within it. This is my wife, Ivy, Mrs. Treadwell.
Hi.
So tonight, or however you want to put it today, like I said, I just wanted to do something a little different. So we're gonna let the wife ask me something, and I'm gonna give it to you like I always do with my videos. What you got, boo?
All right, babe. So, as he said, I am Mrs. Treadwell. Happy to be here tonight. I know this is something a little different. First time I'm on the camera, so bear with me. I guess we can talk about our marriage and how it started off, our relationship, and your job. How did that go for us?
Let's see. Well, for one, we are in year 6 this year, so we are excited for that. My wife would tell you, I guess I'm not the romantic one. I'm more of a type A, alpha male type of guy. But to kind of give a little history with that, I'm the type of fellow where when it comes to the women that I grew up with, anything that I see them not have, anything that I've ever heard them complain not getting from another man, I focused more on that than the love part, because obviously that's what they did get. They just didn't get the other part. So I'm still working on the romantic part, but it's slowly getting there.
It's much better.
How's the marriage been? Marriage is work for sure. Before we get to, I don't want to lie. In any of my videos, you'll know that I'm straightforward. I want to be direct as much as possible. So marriage is work. And I will say this: if you're not prepared to work, just sit down or speak to someone that's an elder, that's been in the game longer than you, so you can understand what exactly you're getting into. So for me, never really seen marriage growing up. Out of anybody in my family, I only seen one group of people that was married. Well, no, I'd say two that was successfully married, but I wasn't even around them like that. So seeing from afar doesn't count. It counts in the household because you see the ins and outs. You see, this person angry. You see this person, how they communicate. Seeing the uncle over here, I never got to see that. So what I seen was, hell, they've been together over 10 years or half my life. They good. But see, I didn't see no slamming of the doors. I didn't see none of that. So coming into my own marriage, I'm not gonna lie, I probably brought a lot of negative behaviors than what I should have. But I'm learning and I'm growing. So as far as the marriage part, I'm gonna say it's work. It's a roller coaster.
I won't let him take all of it with the bringing the negative behaviors, because it's two different people in two different backgrounds trying to mend as one.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we think we would like to have in a marriage, what we see, I come from a 2-parent household, and even they had moments where they didn't get it quite right. We all know that, right?
Right.
So the idea that I had in my head of what I wanted in my marriage, I had to unlearn, because what we're creating is what we're creating together. What I thought I wanted is not necessarily what you get, but you make it beautiful. You make your own beautiful. And you learn to unlearn what you thought you want and work with what you have.
Right.
And honestly, it becomes even better. Sorry, I didn't cut you off. Go ahead.
Right, you good. One thing, if you ever watched any of my videos, I said this, and I often tell my wife this. I told her that I live in the reality while I build my fantasy. Because if it's the other way around and you have this, I'm going to get married, we're going to have 10. See, we had it all planned out. We're going to have 5 kids.
Mm-hmm.
At 1, I was ready to shut it.
He was done.
I was good, because I'm like the crying and, the mood swings and just understanding the patience that you have to have. But I grew up an only child, so I wanted to change that and make sure that we brought in another kid so baby girl wouldn't have to go through that. But back to the whole fantasy part, like I said, live in the reality, understand that you're going to go through shit. Live in the reality to where you understand that me sleeping in another room don't mean that we have to get a divorce. That just mean, hey, look, I'm not studying you tonight. We're going to try it again tomorrow, and if you're on the same thing, I'm going to the other room. You know, now of course you don't want to have too many nights of that because eventually that would lead to divorce. But coming into it, understanding that it's not going to be perfect, that helps you build a fantasy. That helps you build towards that. So, like I said, it's definitely a journey. But I would say this: I had to pray for a wife because, man, I tried in every avenue to do it my way. But I'm like I said, I'm cut from a different cloth. So some of the avenues I tried to go, it was almost like God was like, "No, come on back. You know, where you going?" So none of them worked. But when I finally
tried to be your typical man and get your video vixens and all
yeah.
the rest,
yeah.
you know.
The Lisa Ray,
yes,
Stacey
and
Dash.
tried to make it a wife, but you know what they say. Well, you know what they say. But yeah, so.
What they say?
What did they say?
I'm asking you. Hell, she don't even know what they say.
Yes, I do.
Oh, what they say then, boo?
You can't turn a hoe into a housewife.
Oh, well, you know. It's a few that's been turned.
Yeah, some of them can be turned.
But we know.
Okay, but slim pickings.
Right.
So go and get you a good one.
For sure. And one thing I want to add on with the marriage is what people need to understand is that you're not going to get everything.
No.
With the whole 80-20 thing, I didn't really hear about this until I watched one of the Tyler Perry movies, Why Did I Get Married? And he broke down the whole 80-20 thing. He said you rarely get 100%. You're going to get 80 from a person, but often because you don't have that other percentage, you feel cheated. You feel like, and you're going to see that 20% on TV. You're going to see that 20%. We all Instagram. It's on the live. It come in your DMs. If you go to any type of restaurant, airport nowadays, 20% is walking around.
You come in your DMs.
I ain't got no DMs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, girl, get out of here. But anyway, I understood over time in our marriage just what 80% was. And I told her when she had baby girl that bumped her up to 90% because a woman giving you her womb, that's the ultimate gift she can give you. You know, in my opinion, you know, because for as a man, as a gift, being a protector, if she has a father, that's already covered. Finances, now that women can work on their own, that's not a gift. You know, it's just at the end of the day, on the level of a womb to what a man could give a woman, there's really nothing besides being faithful. You know, I maybe that's it. You know, anybody comment on that? Let me know if that's it. But I
would say those are good things. Being a protector.
Well, I'm talking about compared to, you know, a woman giving up her womb because people died through it. They died during birth, complications, all types of stuff. For as a man, hell, all we gotta do is be there and, you know, go through the screaming and the hollering, which was very hard for me.
Oh my goodness. But out of it, we got two beautiful girls, a 5-year-old and a 3-month-old.
Yeah.
Healthy, praise God. And so, okay. So in the beginning, what were some of our difficulties that we faced in our marriage with your job being what it is and being away from home?
Okay. One of the difficulties I would say was mainly the distance, because we were both in relationships, you know, prior to us getting married, where it wasn't no distance. You know, we were, you know, where we was together. So I think that was the main thing, distance.
Yeah, and I remember you asking me, you know, could I accept your job and could I accept you being away from work? And I was like, yeah, of course, and of course I could. But when we actually said I do, and I really realized how long 30 days, you know, was without my husband, it became challenging. Those 30 days, I mean, I'm going to bed by myself. I've got the girls by myself. I'm maintaining the house, you know, in the physical, should I say, by myself. I'm not by myself, you know, being married, and he's always... thank God for technology, because he's here every day via the phone conversations, via FaceTime.
Right.
We talk unlimited amount of times a day.
Right.
But being in the physical, meaning that, you know, I got to bring the milk down to the refrigerator as opposed to, babe, can you please take this? I'll clean the parts while you take it down.
Right.
So the distance was definitely challenging for us. it would kind of cause a little, tension in our marriage. So I was like, I didn't sign up for this, and you're never home, and all of that stuff. But we got through it. 6 years, right? Huh?
Yeah, we got through.
Yeah, we got through it. Don't do it like that. Don't do it like that. He was about to check out a couple of times, but
man,
yeah.
But I will say this: marriage is like a roller coaster. But I made sure I pay in full to get my season passes.
Yeah.
I make sure. And something that I heard a long time ago, because when we were struggling, I was trying to understand, how did couples go to 65, 75 years or however long they stayed married? And I heard it was an old man. He said, the reason why me and my wife made it 65 years, he said, because we both did not fall out of love at the same time. Right. He said, you cannot check out at the same time. Say if it's her time and she's like, man, the hell with this, I'm throwing in the towel. He's got to be able to remind her, look, it's not that deep, or we got too much invested, and he got to say something to reel her back in, or on the other side, she got to do the same thing. Because if once you're both there and say, hey man, the hell with it, there's nobody saving you.
That's right.
Now sometimes kids come in the middle and y'all may stay together for that, but sometimes that doesn't even work.
Yeah.
But I'll add this in the video. This is something where I had to do a self-check, because at first I struggled with it because I didn't understand. I'm thinking, man, I'm carrying majority of the finances. How much weight do you got on you? And I remember the second house we had. It was a camera in the family room, and it was above the TV. And I was calling her and I couldn't get a hold of her. So I looked on the camera to see, well, hell, maybe is she all right? She okay? And she had the baby trying to nurse, and this was the first baby, so the nursing part wasn't really that easy. Then the dog at the time that we had, he was needing to go to the bathroom, so he whining, and the look that she had on her face was just like damn, overwhelming. It's a long day. Damn, latch on and drink this milk and stop crying, and you get the hell out my face. I wish you could go let yourself out and go to the bathroom. And at that point, I realized, okay, it's not just, in my mind, it's not just about finances. Like, it's more to being a mother. It's more to being a wife. And at that point, I started to fall back on just my perception of, damn, what you really doing? I mean, you at home, you ain't out here hustling and busting, da-da-da-da. But really, she was just in her lane. So I had to fall back and understand just what her lane was and make sure that no more weight came on her, because she already had enough in her lane, and that's why I go hard like I do now, because I want to make sure that she's able to be a wife. For anybody that understands the YouTube platform that Kevin Samuels is trying to build, a lot of people may not like him, but one thing that he did say that I respect wholeheartedly, he said, God gave men shoulders to carry weight, and he gave women hips to bear child. Which means that's the only place that they need to carry that much weight. The weight need to be on our shoulders. So I make sure that I go hard. I make sure that every opportunity that I can get and take advantage of, that I'm making sure she don't have to carry that weight. That she don't have to pick up that load that most mothers carry. So
yeah, and I'm truly grateful for that, and we're learning to really do what works for us. Mm-hmm. Every day it's a growing process. Every day we get better and better. Like you said, we're 6 years in. Mm-hmm. It hasn't always been, and I'm gonna say this tonight. I've never said this before, but we've had many rainstorms.
For sure.
But one thing I do promise is to always have the umbrella.
I appreciate that.
Many times, any married couple will go through storms and stuff like that. And it'll rain. Sometimes it'll thunderstorm bad. But one thing I can say is I always have the umbrella for us.
And I appreciate that.
Okay, so but what do you think? So what drives you? How do we motivate you now?
Okay. Most people right here, let me see if I can see it. This right here, it's in Old English, Mr. Go Harder. I've always adopted that name, and I take it wholeheartedly with pride. So I've always been that. But once they came into my life, well, for one, my wife, I knew, I didn't know exactly what a husband was. Didn't exactly know what a man was. but I knew the man that I wanted to be. So once she came in my life, I had to take Mystical Harder to another level because I understood that I'm not just providing for me, I have to provide for her. And I have to make sure that A through Z is taken care of. I told her from day one, I said, all I need you to do is be a wife. And at the time when we had our kid, a mother, and work the job you got now. And I'm going to carry A through Z. But I also said eventually I would want you to come off that job so you can focus more on just being a wife and a mother and do things that you want to do. Another thing Kevin Samuel said, he was saying that when a woman has to carry a certain amount of weight as a man does, she loses her feminine side. And when you carry weight, you have to pull out your masculine side. So most of our arguments came because before me, she had to carry weight and pull out the masculine side. And she'll tell you a couple times, I'm like, hey, you got to take that superwoman cape off because now you're stepping on my toes. Yeah. As again, you heard me say earlier, I'm an alpha male and I take my role very seriously. So I'm the type, I'll give an example.
Hey, which I don't mind because I like a man being a man.
Right,
I'm not trying to take care of any man out here.
Right.
Ladies, I don't advise you to do the same.
Right.
But I like him being an alpha male.
Right. I give an example. Never changed oil day in my life. Never. Grew up in the city for the most part, or wasn't a man around to teach me how to change oil. So never changed oil. So she had a Lincoln Navigator, and I believe she called her uncle about something. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm like, the hell you calling him for? But it wasn't like, don't call your uncle. It was the fact that I know how I would look at it if my daughter called me and she was with a man or supposed to be a man. It's gonna be like, to me, what is he there for? Yeah. So I told her, hey, look, don't call your uncle. It don't matter if I don't know how to change, or God has blessed me financially to where if I don't know, I can get it taken somewhere to where they know. It don't matter what I know. But the main point that I was trying to get her to understand was I'm going to take care of it. Knowing and unknowingly, it's going to get taken care of by me, through me. Yeah. So let me get back on topic. What'd you say again, love, about the...
How do the girls and I motivate you?
Okay, for the motivation part, man, just knowing God has blessed me with a wife, knowing that I need to produce every day, that's my drive. My daughters, man, that's a whole nother drive there because I'm thinking they're baby girl's 5, Nova's 3 months, but I'm already thinking they're going to get married one day. I'm going to need to pay for that. They're going to be 16 one day. I want to make sure that they have their car. And when you think Sweet 16, nobody's talking about insurance, full coverage. Nobody's talking about just everything that comes with it. It's not just going to buy a car. And I don't want to get them no $500 lemon because they're not boys. They're not going to be doing no fixing up calls. Or I'm not going to be worried about, Daddy, I broke down. No, we finna get something with 360 cameras so you ain't backing into nothing. We're going to get something to where when you put it in drive, your phone ain't texting. Well, I'm going to figure that out. I'm going to make sure mine's come through. But everybody else's, they don't come through.
Oh, wow.
But my drive is I want them to have it all. And in my mind, y'all are my world, so I want to give you the world. Yeah. So that's my drive. Yeah. What you got?
Okay, what future goals do you have in mind for our family?
Okay. Well, for now, we're in North Carolina, and I want to relocate to possibly Georgia. Yeah. I want to move somewhere where it's still southern for a family, because we're not in the fast lane. So any place like Miami, New York, that's too fast for me, and we're trying to raise kids. So Georgia is still like North Carolina, but just on a bigger scale. Mm-hmm. And I want to be able to take us down there and actually grow. You have a lot of growth down there, business wise. There's a lot of networking going on. I'm not saying that's in Charlotte, but we want to switch it up. We've been in North Carolina all our life. So to go somewhere else that, that's not even our stomping grounds, and to be able to network with different people, that's what I want to do. I want to be able to just network with different people, learn from people that are above me, break away from family. And because nowadays, I'm pretty sure everybody in experience, family's not family nowadays. You can adapt to somebody that's not your family, mm-hmm. and they love you to death, mm-hmm.
And to life.
Well,
love you to life.
Yeah, we'd rather say that.
Yeah.
But just at this moment, I just want to grow. That's that, whatever that direction is, in a positive direction.
Okay. Yeah, we have been talking about possibly moving our family for growth. And honestly, I'm pretty excited. I've been in North Carolina my whole life.
All right.
So to see something and experience something new with my husband, with my family, the opportunity to grow in whichever way that may be.
Right.
To me. And I'm for if God says that's the move for our family,
that's the main thing.
Then I'm ready to rock and roll.
Right.
I definitely will miss my sister.
Right.
But with good jobs and planes,
all that technology.
Yes, we'll be right there close together. So,
right.
If God say let's go, we packing it up.
Right. And one thing she added when she brought in God, that's the key thing to us as well, because there's been a lot of moments where we wanted to throw in the towel. I had a cousin that told me, I said, man, how do you do it? I'll be ready to leave, throw in the towel. He said, yo, blood, just take that towel and dap up the sweat. The old folks saying for you. But
because how long has he been married, right?
I think it's been about 30, 35 years.
Yeah.
And he ain't said it. He said it ain't been easy, but he said he wouldn't trade it for anything, because from what he was doing to where he is now, he knows that even with the arguments, even with the disagreements, she has his back.
Yeah.
We've heard stories where people had a good wife, left them from somebody else. They age caught up. Time caught up, and I guess you could say karma caught up, and things didn't add up, and it was the ex-wife that ended up coming in and making sure that this young whatever didn't pull the plug on you, didn't clean your account out, but now she don't want nothing to do with it. Probably remind you of that Tyler Perry movie, maybe the first one, Diary of what was it?
Diary of a Mad Black Woman.
Right. If you've seen that, then you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But back to what I was saying with the whole God thing. He's been to the center. I'm not going to say what he has to be for somebody else. Right. But for this household, he had to be the center. Because without that, I ain't going to lie, man, I would have been out this moment. Because this is something that we both had to learn.
And hold on, I was going to open the door for you. But but no. Like he said, we never fall out of love at the same time. We might have had some pride issues. And honestly, that's been like one of maybe our biggest things is pride. Right. No one wants to really bend and be, remorseful or, come back. But eventually someone has circled back and be like, we're not supposed to be like this, and third. But okay, I want to open the door for you.
The main thing with the whole relationship thing that we've grown to understand is that, like she said, pride has been the biggest kicker for us. Yeah. And it's hurt us a lot because nobody wants to seem weak. Nobody wants to seem like I'm throwing in a towel and you win. But what you have to realize, if one person fails to do what they're supposed to do, we both lose. If we both don't come together, neither person wins. Even if you go off somewhere, you don't win. You still lose. And sometimes you need to leave, but you need to know what level that is. The max out level. If it's not the max out level, you don't leave for anything that's petty, because when that time passes and hindsight is 2020,
it'll be regrets.
It'll be regrets, and you don't want that. So, man, I thank God for being the center. I thank Him for being the glue. I thank Him for teaching me how to be a man, put me in situations to learn how to be a husband. Still working on me with the patience. I thank Him for everything, honestly, because we sitting good.
Absolutely.
He's blessed us too. Now our life has been a little fast paced. You want to tell them about the whole?
All right. So yes, about the fast pace. I don't think it can go any faster, honestly. But I actually met him through his aunt at my job. We worked together. And I remember her saying one day, if I could choose someone for my son, I would want them to be like you. Of course, I didn't really hear it. I heard it, but I didn't hear it because I was involved with somebody else at the time. And I was like, oh, okay, that's, okay, sweet. So the opportunity came up where, who I was dealing with and who he was dealing with, that kind of went to the wayside, thank God. And the opportunity came up for us to actually meet. So I think I first texted him February 4th was our first text. and he said, hi, this is Sean or whatnot, and we kind of exchanged a few texts and then talked later that night.
Right.
So he was supposed to ride. This was in February. He was supposed to ride until June.
Mm-hmm. Ride on the boat.
Ride on the boat, yes, till June. So I was like, oh, okay, he gonna ride to June. All right, well, I'm finna do me. And when I say do me, I mean just enjoy pampering myself. Maybe a movie, dinner, this, that, third. Not do me as in one of wow stuff like
one
whatever.
of them floozes.
No, because that is not even me. But just enjoy myself. But so then we talked February 4th. Mm-hmm. He ended up coming home February 13th. Mm-hmm. And he asked me to be his Valentine. I hadn't had a Valentine, even with, a love interest at the time, in a minute. And so I was excited. I was like, okay. So we technically had our first date February 13th. Our first Valentine and official date right. February 14th. So we spent some time together. He ended up going back to work. Then he wanted to do something special for me. So he came back home after doing his trip, which was, I think, 28 days at the time.
Right, 28.
He came back home. We went to my grandmother's. He wanted to surprise me with a nice trip to my grandmother's, do something different, which was very different because, most men, they try to either do something where they can bed you or something, Netflix and chill kind of thing.
Let me add this.
Go ahead.
And I wanted to do something different because after you go through so many relationships, if you realize everybody's doing the same shit. Let's go to this expensive restaurant. Mm-hmm. Let me take her to the mountains. Let me go to this nice hotel. See, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to do something where it'll stick for life and she'll know I'm serious. I'm mm-hmm. pursuing you on a serious level. Mm-hmm. Because if I pursue you like every other man has done, number one, it's not going to affect you as much and you're going to be more focused on what's my motive. Coming from the level that she just told you I did, I believe she said she hadn't seen her grandma in a year or maybe two since she had her knee surgery. So I said, okay, cool. Mm-hmm. How about number one, let's drive the Mobile. Low key, if I'm finna get serious with you, let me see your side of the family, see what I'm gonna be dealing with.
Yeah, right. He wanted to see our level of crazy over there.
Right.
So March 11th, he took me to see my grandmother in Mobile. Mm-hmm. On the slide, asked me if he would ask me to marry him, what I would say. And I was like, yes, because he showed me already in such a short amount of time that he could be the man that I needed. And I saw so many qualities in him that, one, reminded me of my father. Two, was on the list of things that I put in my Bible when I wrote to God on what I wanted in a man. Mm-hmm. And I saw a lot of manly qualities in him. Right. So I was like, check. Okay, right. If the man asked me to marry him, absolutely.
Right.
So we come back from the trip, and he proposes to me March 23rd. March 23rd was the day that he proposed to me. So I'm just going to go ahead and fast forward this. First conversation, February 4th. He came home February 13th. We had a date February 13th, had our first official Valentine's Day and date February 13th. February 14th, we had our first official Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. March 11th, we went to go see my family in Mobile. He proposed to me March 23rd. Right. We got married May 15th. So, boom, in a matter of 3 months.
Right, you see the track line from there. And I had a lot of people that was opposing on it. You want to make sure you ain't meeting that girl's representative. You want to make sure that... You know what you're getting into, which I respected all the advice that came with it. But see, I have the mindset, you could be with somebody 12 years, and that 13th year, you see a different woman. You see a different man. So I'm not saying you just jump in with anybody.
Absolutely.
I actually prayed about this.
Yes.
I always pray. If you've seen one of my videos, I'll say, one of my prayers to God is, God, open my spiritual eyes so I can see what I need to see, and open my spiritual ears so I can hear what I need to hear. Number one, so I can't be blind. Number two, so I can hear. You can tell when a person's lying. You can tell when they're coming with game. You can tell, just when they're not coming correct. So I wanted to make sure that I was walking that line correctly. But when she said about the whole, me marrying her, the reason why I asked in Mobile, kind of on the not the serious note, it was just like a trial question because you just heard the timeline. I knew it was fast, so I wanted to do, one of those. I what's the word I'm looking for? I'm gonna just say a little trial run. So I wanted to make sure that I wasn't gonna get that little kick to the curve, real quick. I wanted to protect my feelings. So I'm like, if I asked you to marry me, what would you say? As in, so when she said, yeah, I'm like, okay, cool. It's I can move forward now. So when I came home after that trip, I felt what I felt. I prayed on it, didn't get no type of, red flag. So I'm like, okay, I done prayed on this. I done asked God if it's not right, let me know so I don't have to make this move, so I could pump the brakes if need be. I didn't get none of that. So right when we returned home, and I believe she was at work, I went to K's. I went to the mall, I went to K's, and I got a ring that day. I spent, I want to say, 2.5 hours in there because I didn't understand nothing the lady was saying. Nothing about no clarity. All I seen was numbers. Range of 1,000, 30,000.
That's all he hears. How much it's gonna cost? That's what he want to know about.
For sure. Because hell, when I bought my first car, the ring cost more than my first car. So I wanted to make sure I was doing the right thing, and I don't know who this lady is, but I thank God for her for helping me find the ring. And she broke everything down. The ring that she has on now, she said, this ring right here, she said, if my husband could afford it, this would be the ring. If this woman is special for you. And I said, well, hell, she's special, so bag it up. And as simple as that, I bought the ring, based off the strength of what that woman said. And now I made sure I spent some time with her to make sure she just wasn't trying to come up on no sale, but she actually showed me everything. I still didn't understand to this day, about the clarity. They all look the same to me. They all gleam. I even did the whole little look thing. They all look the same. From the 500 to the 2,000, 20,000, they all look the same to me. But maybe I was more focused on the numbers, so it is. Yeah. But the reason why I didn't make it as romantic as I should have is because the time frame was so fast, and I knew the magnitude of a woman marrying a man that works away from home, and I wanted to make sure, okay, I could do all this, Romeo Juliet shit, but at the same time, I wanted it to be, hey, look, this is my job. This is what I'm doing, and unless God open up another door, this is where I'm going to be. Can you handle a job like this? Can you be married to a man being away for 30 days at a time, pretty much for his career, and only being home 14 because I'm going to miss holidays, I'm going to miss birthdays, I'm not going to be able to line them all up. Are you prepared for that? And when she said yes, I said, hey, I'm going to marry you. And that was the end of that story. So, like I said, we're 6 years in. Mm-hmm. We got 2 kids. Has it been easy? No. But I'll say this.
It's been worth it.
Right. It's been worth it. And if I was still out here bobbing for apples, that would have been harder than what I actually go through with her, because everything that we're going through now in marriage is more of a strengthening, conditioning thing versus if I'm still out here searching, DMing, and all this other stuff. Hey, we all know it's a lot of games out here. We all know a lot of people, they're not who they say they are. You see profile pictures, but you don't see behind that. You don't see what comes with that. And I promise you, before her, what I seen in a profile, by the time we got back to their place, wigs on the dresser, eyelashes on the sink. If she got a weave, it's all on the toilet. You can't even sit down. TVs on book bags and suitcases. She ain't got no nightstand. But in the profile, she dimed out. In her mind, she a bad bee, But I didn't want that. I wanted a wife, and that's what God gave me. I'm thankful for that. But also understand, just because God bless you for what you asked for doesn't mean that it doesn't come with work.
Yeah.
And work may be headaches. Work may be aggravation. Work may be overtime, but it's worth it. Right. And when you put work in anything, you're going to get a profit.
Yes.
Ain't no working for free.
Yeah.
So you're going to get a profit. But that's what we wanted to bring. I wanted to bring something different, to my channel. I didn't really have a motivational video tonight, so I wanted to bring my wife in while I was at home. So hopefully y'all liked it. Probably going to do more of it.
Yeah.
Not professional, so you got to forgive us for anything that's not politically correct and all that.
Right.
Which, if you watch my videos, some words I make up, but at the end of the day,
what we mean.
You know what we mean. You know where we going. So we appreciate it, and y'all take care.